Welcome to the November 4th meeting of the Rybrook Zoning Board of Appeals. As you can see, we have all 5 members this evening. If you're going to make a presentation, please come forward to the podium, state your name, your address, and if you're an agent, your relationship to the applicant, and the nature of the variance. We have 3 issues this evening. Should be 2 presentations. We have with us this evening Building Inspector Steve Hughes, Village Council Christian Gates. We also have Board of Trustees Liaison David Heiser, and bringing the video downstairs, upstairs is Jessica. We can start the first application is ZBA 25-009, Felix Diaz and Jocelyn Diaz, 10 Maple Court. They've requested an extension of the zoning board variance for a future time period because there was some difficulty evidently in getting a contract. Is anyone in the audience from it?
That's me.
Yeah, please come to the podium.
Hello. I apologize. I didn't know that I had to do it within 6 months. I was,
Busy.
no. I was like speaking to different contractors, just trying to get prices. Then the one I wanted was on vacation. He just got back. I just signed my contract, but the work obviously hasn't started. I don't think he's even submitted anything as of yet, but this should be happening in the next few days.
Yeah, it's not a problem to grant the extension. Do you have any rough idea with the, I guess, Steve, it would be a 6-month extension?
Yes, 6 months.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I would expect it to start soon, as soon as he submits his licenses and everything. Yeah, because I just signed my portion this week.
okay, bring the snow shovels if you'll be working.
I know
on it.
he asked me if I wanted to wait. I was like, I mean, I just rather do it,
Okay, fine,
but it should be happening soon.
very good.
God
Christian,
willing.
do we have to have a motion for that, or?
Yeah, I'd recommend a motion. Just to-
Okay, someone make a motion?
So moved.
So moved,
Second.
agreed, okay, everyone agrees?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
But just to
Oh,
anyway.
no,
be
no
clear,
problem.
that would expire May 3rd of '26.
Yeah, 6 months, 6 months
Okay.
from now. Okay, very good.
Thank you so much.
Very good,
Have a
thank
good
you.
night. Thank you.
The second applicant is ZBA 25-020, Vivian Nolan and Sonia Patel, 4 Maple Court, legalized existing patio and wall constructed 3.3 feet from the side property line.
Hi, how you doing?
Please introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Sonia Patel, Vivian Nolan.
Okay.
We had an existing patio when we bought the house, and we just refurbished the stones to newer stones. And when we had submitted our new survey for our certificate of occupancy for all the work that we had done, the surveyor had put the measurements for, I guess, like the setback or the property line where the patio line fell. Our original survey that we had submitted when we first were doing all this work didn't have that measurement, so nobody knew at that time that it wasn't legal. Steve had found it when we gave him the new survey, and I asked him what our options were, and he said we could apply for a variance, and so here we are.
Okay, we remember you from previous variance.
Yes.
Right.
Our closet's great.
At that time, you requested a GFA, gross floor area variance.
Yes.
And that falls under the umbrella of a bulk standard. And there are also bulk standards with respect to side yard setbacks, front yard setbacks, backyard setbacks. And apparently, okay, in this particular case, someone made a decision to do what was done. Now, either the owner, you folks, said, run the patio to the wall because I like it, or you didn't know and the builder ran the patio to the wall. But somebody had to make a conscious decision to violate a bulk standard
The
in the
wall
village.
was there.
Or yeah, that's what
Right.
that's what I took out of it. If I'm correct, is the way I interpret it, that they did not increase it. What was there, and they just, because it looks like stone was like cleaner, neat, newer, whatever.
Exactly.
So I
Kept
think,
it in the same footprint.
correct,
Same
right,
exact
that's how I took that.
I agree with
We
Glenn,
also
that's
submitted
what I was
before and
Right.
after.
Not like that
They didn't,
other
the
one,
wall,
like.
the wall was
co-
already
Like, we
there.
didn't
Yeah.
build a new wall.
Right.
And that the survey they had before didn't show where the setback was.
So we didn't even know when we were doing all of this that it was
Right.
illegal.
So-
would that mean it was a pre-existing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Right.
And we submitted old photos of the old wall and new photos of the new wall, and it's the same exact wall, basically.
So the patio was there the whole time,
That's right.
Correct.
right up to the wall?
Right,
Correct.
that's correct.
Yeah, okay, I remember that. I just wasn't sure when,
No problem.
when that patio
Well, you had to clear it up, so.
Right.
came in.
Totally.
Okay. In the future, if you are gonna come for another variance,
Why not?
Except at the bar.
we have seen repeat quote, air quotes, offenders come back for multiple variances over time
Okay.
as needs change. So just please, either yourselves or become familiar with, where what the standards are so that we don't have to, go through something like this. Okay, that clarification is satisfactory to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
We have to.
I'm gonna ask, are you finished with your presentation? Okay. Crowded audience today. Anyone in the audience want to speak for the applicants?
Goes of Halloween pass.
Anyone want to speak against it? Okay, there being none, a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, public hearing is closed. Okay, if we go through the 5 factors, not create an adverse impact,
No.
cannot be achieved, another method, is substantial, quantitatively, yeah, but it's not gonna be critical. Will not, affect any, environmental issues, and the need for the variance is self-created?
No.
No, it's not self-created.
No.
Self-created.
Okay, because they found it there.
Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and read the resolution. Whereas application has been made to the Zoning Board of Appeals by Vivian Nolan and Sonia Patel, collectively the applicant, for a variance in connection with the proposed legalization of an existing patio and wall constructed 3.3 feet from the side yard property line on property located at 4 Maple Court in an R10 zoning district on the north side of Maple Court, approximately 80 feet from the intersection of Beacon Lane and Maple Court, designated and shown on the tax map of the Village of Rybrook as parcel ID 135.66-1-69. The property, and whereas the applicant seeks relief from the following requirements of the Rybrook zoning code, section 250, -6, section B, item 1, part A. The minimum required setback for a patio is 6 feet to any property line. The applicant's as-built survey dated September 25th, September 25 indicates the patio wall has been constructed only 3.3 feet from the side property line, thereby requiring a variance of 2.7 feet. Whereas a duly advertised public hearing was opened and closed on November 4th, 2025, at which time all those in attendance wishing to be heard were given such opportunity. Whereas the proposed action is a type 2 action pursuant to 6 New York CRR, Part 617.5, Item 17 of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Whereas the board, from the application and record before it, after viewing the property and neighborhood concerned, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth at section 250-13, section G, Part B, items 2A through E of the Rybrook zoning code, finds. Now, I went through the 5 factors before, so no need to go through them again. Now, therefore, be it resolved that said application is hereby provisionally granted until the vote on the following conditions. No permit or certificate of occupancy shall be issued until the applicants have paid in full all application and consultant fees incurred by the village in connection with the review of this application. Okay, ready to vote? Okay with that? Okay, Steve,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Don, yes, application approved, 5 yeses, 0 nays. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Enjoy.
and get a measuring stick.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
You are
Kristen,
dismissed.
here's your,
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
take care. Okay, the next application is, okay, let's get it here. Application ZBA 25-022, Alex Zagetti and Kaylin Searles, 2 Jennifer Lane, legalized built-up vegetable garden deck structure in the rear. Please come forward, and since you weren't here before, state your name, your address, and the nature of the variance.
Yeah, so Alex Sagetti, 2 Jennifer Lane. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late here. The nature of the variance is we put a vegetable garden in our backyard on the right side of our backyard that is within 10 feet of the property line. I worked with Mr. Fuse, Mr. Nowak, and Mr. Bradbury to take the necessary steps to apply for zoning board review as well as potential architectural review to make sure that everything is done according to code. Subsequent to the construction of the vegetable garden, I did get a architectural rendering as requested by the village, so that was prepared and submitted as part of this application.
I'm a little confused.
So what is
think
the
I have a
status
question.
now?
The vegetable garden is complete in the yard, and I've been working with Mr. Fuse to get this legalized. I did not, in my review of the code online, I admittedly did not reach out to Mr. Fuse in advance of the construction of the garden, and I'm looking to make that right, obviously.
What prompted your reaching out?
Mr. Fuse was on the property to close my fence permit, and that's when he saw the vegetable garden. We had a conversation about it. We've gone back and forth since the fence permit was closed, letting me know that this was a structure in his jurisdiction, and I'm looking to make that right with the village now and take the necessary steps to legalize the structure. I apologize. It was not the intention to build something that was going to be out of code, so I want to do the right things now to get the vegetable garden taken
How
care
long
of.
have you lived in Rye Brook?
The end of this month will be 3 years.
Okay. One of the things that we, as a zoning board, deal with are individuals who want to do something and think that they can do pretty much whatever they want on their lot. And so whether it be I can build my swimming pool because I own the lot, I can do this because I own the lot, I can put it here because I own the lot. Unfortunately, there are zoning codes, and those zoning codes limit the amount of what can be done. And so when you build a structure like this, right up to the property line, it triggers, obviously, a violation of side yard setback. So the problem that we sometimes face is people go ahead and do things and then come back and apologize
Right.
and say, I didn't know. And, as my lawyer friends would say, ignorance is no
No,
excuse.
No, there's no question
Right.
for that. It was a mistake. I'm here to rectify a mistake. In reviewing the exterior building permit applications, the various different applications that existed on the village website, ignorant review was that this is not something that qualified as a structure, doesn't have a roof, doesn't have, a water source or, power, all that, electricity, but I'm here to acknowledge that a mistake was made and see if there's an opportunity for it to be rectified.
Well, the only way to rectify it, and I don't mean to sound
Oh, please.
rude.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I'm not sure you can rectify it unless you move it,
Okay.
right? I think
But
if
he's
you
asking for a variance.
right,
from us.
right. So
That's why I'm
right.
applying for the variance to make this right.
To make
because it
with
was
it-
built
right.
with
Okay.
within within the setbacks, which
Right.
is requiring
Okay.
a variance, you know, to be
Okay.
granted. And yes, so,
Have
sorry.
you posted the notice of the hearing, right?
Yes.
Have you heard from your neighbor at all, that's right next door to you?
I would have asked, you know, Mr. Berardi to be here, but I did not, you know, I didn't want to bother him. I was here speaking on behalf of a variance that he applied for his back deck in the last several months, and I know that he's comfortable with it. I could ask him to write a letter if that would be helpful for the zoning board, but I know that it's something that
Did he
he's
get a
comfortable with.
variance? Did your neighbor get a variance?
He did.
Okay, and so obviously when he saw the construction coming up right against it, did he not sort of be good neighborly and say, do you realize you can't do that?
No, but that's my fault. It's not his. I wouldn't call him a bad neighbor for not
No, no,
telling
I'm
me
not
that,
saying it's a
but-
bad
No,
neighbor.
no,
Yeah,
no.
it's my fault.
No,
I
no,
made the
we
mistake.
appreciate
Yeah, yeah.
your honesty and everything, we're
Yeah.
just we're trying to figure out a solution.
Right. I
Okay.
think he's very comfortable with it. He's given me quite a bit of gardening advice himself as an avid gardener himself. So we've, you know, exchanged quite a
So,
bit of.
and you exchanged, and he never said to you, by the way, it's too close to my property
No,
or anything like that?
he's a fan. He actually told
The
me
way
it's,
I'm looking at this,
too
his
too
hou-
aesthetic.
His house is above yours.
That's correct.
Right,
Right.
and so it's a different level, so it's not as if he's looking
not
at it and
staring
seeing,
into
right,
it.
exactly.
And then water is below it, so there's any water is not running off into his yard.
Right.
Correct. I'm below, and
You're below him.
candidly, it has actually helped with water retention because it's not impervious, and all the water that was running down off
100%
of
for you.
Jennifer Lane down into my property is now, you know, retained by the vegetable garden.
Now,
So there's less, you know,
it's,
erosion.
the size of it, it's my understanding is 25 feet by 11 feet.
That's correct.
Why so large? I
Um,
mean, you have two beds there. It almost seems like it's like a Cadillac vegetable farm.
I just figured that if it was something that I was going to undertake and I wasn't making good use of that space, that it's more aesthetically pleasing, and actually really love to cook, so I took the opportunity, you know, or I'll, you know, take the opportunity to grow as much produce or herbs as I can to use in my cooking. So
Now, who built the structure?
I built the structure.
So you're handy enough to put something up? How handy are you to take something down?
I mean, it would take days, but it would be able to be taken down. It's not, you know, a permanent structure by any means, and the slope, you know, part of the utility of this is that I didn't disturb the slope at all because why would I dig that out to just refill it in? So the slope still exists.
If you were to do that, I'm looking at the schematic here. What's the distance between the edge of the bed and the wall? Because looks like there's a walkway and then there's something else. Is that another bed?
There is a bed along the back, and then two beds in the middle, and
Oh,
there's a
there's a
couple
bed
feet.
along the back
Right.
too.
Yeah, there's a bed
Okay,
along the
that's,
back.
okay, that's what I was trying to understand.
Yeah, so that's a bed, and then there's, you know, maybe a few foot walkway in between the back bed and the, you know, the two beds in the middle, and then same thing maybe, you know, 2 feet on the right side of the bed before the fence.
I got a question.
Yes.
Well, this may be for Steve. Is the bed itself an issue, or is it the structure? Like, let's say that structure didn't exist and he just had the beds there. Would that be an issue?
No, if it was on grade, it would just be a vegetable garden. But we did this built up. It could potentially turn into something else. I mean, other than a vegetable garden. I mean, it's a and again, like I said, it's a structure with a railing, and it's
But we can condition it that it can't turn into.
sure you can.
Like it can't turn into a lap pool.
Or it can't turn
Or-
into a pergola, or it
Right.
can't turn
Right, you
into a
can't
shed,
put a-
or we can,
I would be happy to sign any,
Patio
you know,
on it.
affidavit or any condition that it will never be anything else.
So I'm not a gardener, so I assume you built this to protect it from animals getting in there, or
I mean, it's a little bit more convenient to just have a level surface so that I'm not, you know, trying to deal with the slope of the yard. And then yes, I have, you know, chicken wire around it to prevent rabbits and chipmunks and squirrels from getting into it.
and the walkway around the beds, what's that made of?
It is So fill, dirt, and then a thin layer of fabric, and then a few inches of gravel, just
That's
level
gra-
to
so that's
walk
gravel.
around. Yep. But not
When it
anything
rains, does the
asphalt.
water seep down, or is it pool on the walkway?
Seeps down, never pools. Has never pooled to date.
When was it constructed?
In the first quarter of last year,
Last year meaning 24?
24.
It's impressive. I give it that.
The,
How was your produce?
Yeah, there was a salad for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, what makes it interesting to me, which makes it a little challenging, is that clearly if it was a shed, it's moved, right? I think, but something like this is like first impression for me. Being on the board, something that's a garden right up against it. And I'm being candid though. On the one hand, it's right up against it, and it's a structure. The other hand, it's uncovered, and if it was grade, it'd be like having hedges or vegetables, whatever. It wouldn't matter.
What's the purpose of the split rail fence?
attractive, because he has mesh around it, so the animals don't go in.
Is the split rail have the mesh around it?
The mesh is on the outside of the fence, yep. And it also
For the
serves,
animals.
animals, and then you have a little bit of a handrail.
So need a
against-
rail, if it's higher than 30
Yeah.
inches, it's a walking surface, you would need a railing, you wouldn't want anybody to fall
see.
off.
So that was part of the,
Okay.
so that's there as well for to meet code, is that there needs to
You
be.
kn- you knew that part of the code.
Well, I had to raise the fence a little bit, because the initial railing did not meet code, so I had to raise it.
Christian, if a variance is granted, and with that condition that we talked about, that you had anticipated being an issue, since the variance goes with the property, is there a way of saying that if the applicant sells the property, that has to be removed?
I was wondering about that before.
I remember
Basically, a
asking this
temporary
question.
variance.
Yeah, because I don't like the idea that whoever buys on either side of this property is going to be limited by the existence of this. And tearing it down now is more difficult an option than in incorporating it as a condition of moving out of the property.
And I'm not sure why, if this gentleman decided to leave tomorrow, it goes, if he's there for 20 years.
Which, him or his
Yeah.
neighbor? Him,
him,
okay.
and he's there for 20 years, and then he leaves, like, why is it just for him, right? I mean, I think it does go with the property, and, I think as Joel said, it's a temporary variance, which I've never seen us do before.
I
think
also just want to make one quick statement that there's no other property that this would impact aside from, there's no left and right, because I'm on the corner of Jennifer and Lincoln. So I have Lincoln on one side of the property, Crawford Park behind me, and then number 4, Jennifer. So it's just
If you
just
weren't
up
on a
against.
different level than him, I'd have a much larger issue. Because again,
Understand.
it's not simply, he could move, he could sell his house next week, and a new neighbor could be in there saying, oh my God. But because of the height difference and the way, it's not really a visual obstruction.
Right, and it would just be a
I have
look into my
less of an
backyard.
issue.
And
Yeah.
the fence on the retaining wall between your house and his house, is that his or your fence?
His,
It's his fence.
correct.
My first impression is I would want to look into that as a condition a bit more, but I'm inclined to say no, because typically variances, you can consider the use and the impacts, but not necessarily
So-
who the owner is.
So can
And
we
so,
construct the variance that, in other words, it's for this vegetable garden in its current size, okay, it can't be expanded, and it can't be used for anything other than a vegetable garden? Can you
yes.
say that much?
So anticipating that this would come up from the board. There's draft language.
Can you read the draft language
Yeah,
for the
so-
board now, please?
So the draft language that would be a condition of this is the structure which is the subject of this variant shall only be utilized as a vegetable garden, and no other use of the structure is permitted. The structure may not be expanded and may only be replaced in kind, provided that the use of the structure continues to be a vegetable garden.
Or covered, maybe.
Can't be
Expanded
covered.
or covered.
Well, maybe covered in the winter, right?
I'm not gonna put a roof over it.
So no
We,
roo- no
we could
cover.
clarify that no covering or
Yeah.
roof can be installed.
I think that makes sense because you wouldn't ever want to put a roof on a vegetable garden because it would block
We
the
don't,
sun.
we just don't want it to have it turn into
We don't want
a-
somebody
a
turning into
garden-
something
a si-
else.
A garden sitting area.
Or you know, a shed to store everybody's bicycles with a cover on it, it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Self-enclosed park.
Yeah.
I've known people who've put,
Or a roller rink.
put mesh over their garden so that the birds wouldn't have a field day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's relevant.
No,
I think, Christian, I agree with you. I believe this issue came came up in the past, and it was knocked down then, so I think your interpretation
But
is right
if we
on.
can put all those conditions in it so that
Yeah.
it's limited to this, can't be moved, it can't be expanded, it can't be turned into something else like a little swimming pool or anything like that.
And I'm less concerned with where you're located, you know, that it's only against one neighbor. To me, that's not really an issue.
Because if Glenn decides to put one on him, he's got neighbors on both sides,
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that he's allowed to do it.
Sure.
Right.
Just because,
Sure. That was more of just a correction for
Right. Right,
factual.
right. So, you know, for me, if I approve the variance, it's not because you're a one-side
you're a corner,
house.
because corner
Right.
lots have other issues.
Yeah.
That we've been through.
Yeah.
I am troubled by the forgiveness issue after the fact.
Okay.
We live in an area that people have significant resources. And sometimes they go ahead and do things and then ask for forgiveness at the end because it's a relatively simple process. If you came before us with this proposal, we would turn it down. My understanding is we would turn it down?
If you had come in beforehand, can I do this? We likely would have said no.
Put it somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, so, in a sense, we're going against what we would like to see here.
Understood.
And apparently accommodating your situation. But I just have difficulty in doing this when I know that it can be moved by the skill of the person who put it there. So, you're probably going to get your variance, but I'm going to vote no on it
I understand.
for that reason. But, you know, I think it's a beautiful structure, there's no question about it. And you took advantage of a slope, a useless slope on your property. So there are a lot of positives here, but that is the issue.
It
that-
doesn't excuse the mistake that was made.
Also, the issue is, we don't want, this is only for this structure, so you can't now put a generator over next to that wall or anything else.
Yep.
It can't expand to anything other than this.
Or build a walkway from the house to the garden, you know.
Right, yeah.
After I
It's
submitted
gonna
this,
be as limited as we could possibly make it.
there's not gonna be any changes to it. Mr.
Because
Fuse asked me
we
what my
have
next
ma-
project was gonna be, and it's
We
gonna
have,
be a long
we have
time
many
before I-
cases where people wanna put the generator because they don't want it next to their house.
Understood.
And this can't be an excuse for that.
So in a little straw poll, can we do a little straw poll amongst ourselves?
No. Well, what? About
Just,
whether-
about,
No.
well, because he kind of.
I'm reading it as 4-1.
Right.
But, you know, so I'll go ahead and not put anyone on the spot if it's not necessary.
I'm kind of,
Wavering?
yeah,
Ah,
but I want to make sure that,
It has enough to carry.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
Well, you're the second
Well,
voice.
if you're wavering, then why do you care if it has enough to carry?
Because he wants to be nice.
Yes, and
That's.
I don't know. I mean, if you
I-
vote,
Yeah. The only question I have with the 5 factors, that 2 are obvious and 2 are not obvious. The third one, or the 5th one, is the second one. The benefits the applicant seeks can or cannot be achieved through another method feasible for the applicant to pursue that does not require the variance. And that would be moving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, does the applicant have another method?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Take it there.
That does not necessarily mean that.
Well, no, see, no, because that, you can say that for anything. You remove it, get rid of it. I think, can he have his garden and not, and not need a
Could-
variance?
Could you move it to another place if you wanted on that property?
No, because it's not a complete box, right? Like the way that it's structured is
It's
it's built
structured up
into,
against the
it's
wall.
built into the
Into the
slope, so
slope.
it's not a free,
I would
it's
go-
not a
it
freestanding
can't be
box.
done
Right.
by any other means.
Because if it was a freestanding box, then
Right.
yes, I could have put it anywhere on the property, but the idea
Right.
was to take, my idea, was to take a slope that I wasn't
Right.
gonna be able to use for anything else productive or visually aesthetic and do something more productive with it.
But Don, to your point, I think what's important to note though is the specific factors of this, right? That you know, anybody who makes a mistake or does something and asks for forgiveness, this isn't. I just want to be clear, like not setting a precedent because every application is looked at separately. I mean, there are certain things about this, the retaining wall, how that the layout of the neighbor's house is. I mean, there's certain factors which, you know,
That play into the
that play into
decision
the.
process.
Yes.
No question.
There are unique situations here. If the applicant hired a carpenter to go ahead and do all this stuff, the applicant has the skill set to be able to do it.
Yeah, but that's.
That influences it.
Right, but it
So
shouldn't.
there is an alternative.
It shouldn't though, because, I mean, whether he could do it himself or he has to hire somebody, there's still time, I don't think that's a factor.
Can you condone a mistake? You know, I mean, that's.
We have in the past.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still feel that it can be, you can have,
That's why we have 5 people in the room.
right, a 25 by 11 vegetable garden that is only 2 4x8 plots. is overkill, in
It's
my
not, that's
opinion.
the point, it's not, it's more, this is all plot, that's what I didn't understand.
Yeah, all right. Okay, we'll go ahead. Okay, Glenn, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right.
Gotta close everything.
Oh, yes. Anyone out there want to speak for the application? Anyone want to speak against the application? The applicant mentioned that there was a neighbor who likes the idea, is supportive of the idea, so that would be a supportive,
Although said person is not here.
it's basically hearsay, but we appreciate that. Motion to close the public hearing. So, public
Second.
hearing, closed. Whereas application has been made to the zoning board of appeals by Alex Seghetti and Kalen Searles, collectively the applicant for a variance in connection with the proposed legalization of a vegetable garden deck structure in rear on property located at 2 Jennifer Lane in an R10 zoning district on the northwest side of Jennifer Lane at the intersection of Lincoln Avenue and Jennifer Lane, designated and shown on the tax map of the Village of Rybrook as parcel ID number 135.57 -1-13, the so-called property. Whereas the applicant seeks relief from the following requirements of the Rybrook zoning code. 1, section 250-22, part G, items 2A through A and B, the minimum required side yard setback is 10 feet. The applicant's vegetable garden deck structure has been constructed 0 feet from the side yard setback, thereby requiring a variance of 10 feet. Whereas a duly advertised public hearing was opened and closed on November 4th, 2025, at which time all those in attendance wishing to be heard were given such opportunity. Whereas the proposed action is a type 2 action pursuant to Section 6 New York CRR 617.5, Part 17 of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Whereas the board, from the application and record before it, after viewing the property and neighborhood concerned, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth at Section 250-13, Section G, Item B, Parts 2A through E of the Rybrook zoning code, finds: 1, the requested variance will not create an adverse impact to the character of the neighborhood. 2, the benefit the applicant seeks cannot be achieved through another method feasible for the applicant to pursue that does not require the variance. 3, the requested variance is substantial. 4, the requested variance will not create any adverse impacts to the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. And 5, the need for the variance is self-created. Now therefore be it resolved, said application is hereby provisionally granted on the following conditions. No permit or certificate of occupancy shall be issued until the applicants have paid in full all application and consultant fees incurred by the village in connection with the review of this application. 2, now, do you want to read the amended version of that, Christian? I think you, okay, please do that.
The structure which is the subject of this variant shall only be utilized as a vegetable garden, and no other use of the structure is permitted. The structure may not be expanded, no roof can be installed, and may only be replaced in kind, provided the use of the structure continues to be a vegetable garden.
Okay, agreeable?
Yep.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's vote. Steve?
Yes.
Glenn?
No.
Okay. Okay, Jamie?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Don, no. Application approved, 3 yeses, 2 nays. Congratulations. I would just indicate to anyone who's ever interested in watching these proceedings to please, if you're going to be doing any construction, check the code. All right, the last item is the summary for the last month. All right, didn't see a problem with it.
Congratulations.
Okay, approved. Okay, motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Congratulations. Steve,
Find out about.
if the application is there and it can be moved to January,